we've just watched Starburst take on one JP team.
Yes.
Do you think they have it in them to beat two JP teams?
I mean, they're probably pretty warmed up after that first Japanese team, so maybe it could be a thing.
It could very well be a thing, and we are looking at King's roster here. We've got some, well, we will certainly be hard at work translating the names, but if I'm remembering correctly, we should be seeing clicks on, I would guess, 52 gal, but could also see some dualies coming out. Clicks has many different weapons available. And on top of that, I want to say, at least I hope one of these fine individuals of Kings is Shelton, who is an incredible player playing many, many, many different weapons, but I am looking forward to hopefully seeing Shelton's Squeezer.
I think Shelton is playing. We are in the midst of translating their names. I think Sheru-tan is Shelton. Yes?
Yes.
So, I really like watching Kings play. I think they're a really, how would I say it, well-meshed, well-practiced, expert team. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I know we've seen them in some previous tournaments that we've run over in Spawn Point. Watching Shelton's Vanilla Squeezer Stingray just obliterate the competition during Shopping Spree was a sight to behold. I know I have seen clicks on several different weapons in tournaments as well as through Open Rec, which if anyone is interested in watching the JPC, I would highly recommend that you check out openrec.tv. It is where many of the high-level players end up streaming. It's the Twitch equivalent, I would say. So if you're interested in learning more about the JPC and watching more JP players, that's a wonderful resource for you. We, of course, are also familiar with Tara, who is the sole non-JP member of Kings, is of EU, but has done brilliantly to bring in so many JP players into the Western tournaments. Should be seeing Tara on support, but also could be seeing Tara on the tent umbrella.
For sure. And you know what? I think that is commendable to be able to use their abilities and connections to be able to kind of work with different communities to bring us all together.
Yeah, I agree entirely. Definitely trying to bridge that distance, that gap, is something that I, for one, am very, very happy to see.
Definitely. We are just waiting for a little bit just to see, just to give everybody a couple of minutes for break, because Starburst just played through a 5-game set.
They did, and it was not an easy one. So I'd imagine while they're warmed up, they should be just about ready to go, and we are just about ready to go. And if I am understanding correctly, then we should have Benzaisu as the other member of Kings who we have not yet talked about. I'm just very, very excited to see what we have to come here, but we will be moving back to, not even moving, it's like nothing changed at all, Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy once again. We already know that
it's a classic, truly. We know that everyone loves, all of my homies love Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yeah, I definitely didn't call it overrated the other day. But that said, we know that Starburst can do wonderful things here. Perhaps Kings, since they did finish their matchup against FT Win a bit faster than we saw the Starburst versus Ticket Squeeze set end up, perhaps they were able to watch that set and maybe have some strategies moving in here to take on Starburst and counter their double missile strats. But we're just going to have to wait and see about that.
We shall, and we're just a few seconds off from getting started into that next match. Do you have any predictions for how this set is going to go, Barry?
Well,
I know it's a loaded question, but
it's a very loaded question, and I don't want to be a biased North American commentator who is excited to see a North American team potentially send us to a Game 5. But I want to see us go to a Game 5.
A Game 5? Okay. I mean, you called it before, maybe you'll call it again.
It's a possibility. But we do see these comps coming out here. No changes coming through here from Starburst from what we just saw. And on the other side of things, it is nearly identical. Vanilla Jet ends up and K-Shot, the only difference being that Tensa 52 Gal compared to the Neo Splash, and well, we saw how that worked out last time, but perhaps Kings has something up their sleeves.
Perhaps they do, but we do see that Vanilla Jet Scouts are coming out from both sides, and the missile potential is going to be immense.
Yes, it is. But that said, Starburst have moved in very well with theirs, despite going one down. It's Biscuit, Ice, and I believe it was Bagel still alive there to move on in and avenge Bran. This is very, very good map control for them, taking that far left and far right area for special gathering purposes, and now having 4 missiles ready to launch onto the members of Kings before they're able to drop. That's going to put a lot of pressure on them and be very discoordinating for them. One of them jumping to each other, but it is their Vanilla Jet that will go down there. I believe that would have been Shelton.
Yeah. I think Starburst is having a really strong showing here, but Kings is playing it really patiently and trying to use that Booyah Bomb to give a little bit of space to move in. And I think from that they are able to take the zone. But, they do have a lot of loose ends swimming about.
They do at the moment, but one of those loose ends will super jump on out to spawn. Biscuit does go down to what appeared to be a bomb, unfortunately, so won't have a bomb rush ready, even though there are 3 other specials online for Starburst. They are more than happy to be a bit patient here and wait for the right time to strike. Finding 3 missiles to go out there, but the Booyah Bomb is going to put a lot of pressure and not allow them to take control of that right side just yet.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, this bomb rush is going to have to live to be able to make a difference, but unfortunately, taken out by Kings and really giving Starburst a run for their money, a hard time to move back in.
Yeah, and it's basically just going to be Ice's missiles here. Does find 2 with the missiles, and it could be enough. One goes down, but both K-Shots are dead. The splash going down, and now it's once again just Ice. It is an impossible position to move on in against a walled-off Kensa 52 Gal and trying to paint the zone over 3 other members of Kings. Not going to happen there for Starburst, but to be fair to them, they didn't start with a Game 1 win in the semifinal set that they played, so it's not as if they'd be coming back from unprecedented territory.
Mm-hmm, for sure. But like we mentioned before, Kings is a really strong opponent, and Starburst obviously are strong players too. So we'll just have to see what is gonna come out next, and see if it is gonna be up to Starburst to kind of make that comeback.
Well, they're more than ready for that comeback. We'll have to take a quick little look at what we're seeing here is if you don't booyah, you don't win.
Yeah, I think
that's the life lesson here.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, right? Like if your teammates booyah, you gotta booyah back, right?
Yes. Yeah. That is the strats, and I hope everyone here who's looking to improve their competitive play will remember that and take that home, because we see Benzai Isu pumping out so many more booyahs than everyone else, and look at that KA, 3.18 KA per minute, very, very influential in that map. Obviously, correlating to the booyahs coming out. We had to have a little bit of a laugh because we talked about will Starburst have some sort of answer here. What does Starburst do, Mellana?
The answer is Inkfare Art Academy. They're going back to study. But this time we're gonna be going to tower control on Inkfare Art Academy. And you know, we saw their strong performance. We saw exactly how dominant they were in that last set with this map and mode. So let's see if they're able to replicate that kind of dominant play here.
Yes, one change coming through, Biscuit switching back over from the Neo Splash to the Kensa 52 Gal. So now these comps are identical, especially seeing as how both Ice and Shelton switched over to the custom Jet Sculpture, providing that Stingray coming out. So far, not the opening that you'd want to see if you were Starburst. Already going one down, but that is a brilliant angle there from Ice, and awareness does at the very least keep that member of Kings from pushing up and wins the Stingray battle. That is something that I always love seeing.
We do certainly love to see it, but you know, that's not to say that this is the end of the push for Kings. They're still in a good position, but you know, all of the members of Starburst are coming back, so maybe they might have to. Oh, actually, we got a this way coming out. Coming out from Kings, but Starburst is able to take the tower, and that Stingray coming out is going to make it difficult to stay on the tower, but they are able to break the checkpoint, and that is a huge accomplishment. Yes.
I'm wondering if you're seeing something I'm not. They weren't through it just yet, but they did break it in the end there, thankfully. No commentator curse, the commentator bless, in fact. And not only that, but they've continued their push here a little bit more. Ice has a Ray ready, and despite losing Biscuit on the 52 Gal, it does seem like they might be able to put some more pressure on. Although, I don't know if they're going to want to commit forward without having Biscuit, especially as they had that armor ready to go.
Yes, yeah, for sure. And you know, we see exactly their positioning kind of matched what they had in the last set, and Bagels, whoa, just deep breathing, just scary, right? Scary situation right there.
Ooh, another scary situation. It's one thing to have the missile shared. It's another thing to have the Stingray going back and forth between multiple members. Anytime it finds a lot of ticks like that, it does seem like it just emboldens the Rayer to find a multi-kill. But that said, despite the numbers lost, they are right back in here, Starburst, with this push, trying to continue things here, and it just doesn't seem that they ever stop. It's one of the really consistent things we've seen through halfway of this match and the previous match here. They love to keep this tower around the left elbow area, never allowing it to fully reset, and always having that opportunity to continue to push further.
And you know, like I mentioned before, it's a matter of being able to take down the clock while you're in the lead. It's the game of Splatoon.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
It was sudden. I'm sorry.
We didn't see it.
No, I saw anything.
This map is, it's a really, really, really hazardous map. This is not the Art Academy that you should be sending your children to. They need to work on their protocols. Where is OSHA? Where are the Squid Research Facility people to investigate these dangers that we are seeing here? Speaking of dangers, though, that Ray from Shelton is going to stop this push short of gaining any more than just one additional point for Starburst. And even though they haven't really been able to get a whole lot going to advance their point total, I do think Kings has done a really excellent job of preventing them from getting super comfortable, and following on top of that, they've built by getting a near wipe.
Yeah, and I think this is a prime opportunity for Kings to be able to make a push forward, and that Ray is going to make it very difficult for Starburst to get a good footing to be able to stop this push from happening.
Yeah, and Ice going down there too from Shelton. That's not what you want right there. Didn't have the Ray ready, but it's going to be really difficult to challenge the range. Even though all the members of Starburst are focusing that tower together, they do seem to just about prevent the checkpoint from being broken. So that is the good news for them. Lead lost, but with a little less than a minute remaining, they have given themselves a decent opportunity to find a comeback. And many specials are available to them too. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here and now.
But that Ray is immediately coming out from Shelton, forcing Bagel off the tower, but we'll see if they're able to make a push. Biscuit taking on that 1v1, but we see the teammates coming in. We see people coming in to help. It was really unfortunate positioning on Shelton and really great positioning from Biscuit.
Oh, he's doing so well. He's found multiple picks, but meanwhile, the other members, it's very excellently contested at the tower. But one last push, possibly Shelton does find a pick, but it's going to be the Booyah Bomb to take him out. And now they're all just having to drop at the tower. I don't think they're getting there in time. It's going to be the lead for Starburst right at the end.
That was so well played from Starburst, and Kings really put up a good fight. But Starburst just knew exactly what to do at this moment. And Biscuit. That's it. Biscuit, just Biscuit. I don't know what else to say. Just Biscuit.
Biscuit taking on the world there. 18K, finding excellent picks to open up some space. And despite the other members going down in and around the tower, Biscuit is still able to come all the way back over, get off the Booyah Bomb to protect those jumpers from Shelton, who did find, of course, the trade, but the other members of Kings just not close enough to the tower to contest it in time. And so it will be another tied upset, one apiece. I mean, are we ever leaving Inkblot Art Academy, Mel?
I think we might just live here. I think we live here now.
I love seeing the stats come on through here as well. And what did we talk about at the start of this match? What did we talk about? How many booyahs?
More booyahs means more wins. Come on, guys. We see that they have remedied they've seen the errors of their ways, and they've been booyahing, and their booyahs brought them right straight to the top.
And I will say, despite obviously we'd love to see the booyah statistic, but seconds spent on objective, Starburst were in control for so much of that match, and yet it came down to the final seconds. Look at how little Kings was actually present on that tower for. One push. One true push to really get that initial lead. I say initial, but it wasn't not a very initial. It was right at the end. But still, they nearly had it. And that just kind of shows what coordination can do. Never giving up much more than they had to, despite all that pressure coming through from Starburst. And they still nearly snatched a win away. However, Biscuit.
Just Biscuit.
Just Biscuit.
Just Biscuit, the 3.4K per minute, just Biscuit. Fine. I don't even know how to describe it, but having a player like Biscuit is he's just too good. I don't know. Nerf, please.
I think one of the things that really impresses me about some of the members of Starburst is the versatility. And obviously this is something that all the top players do end up having to do at some point or another. Probably not have to, but oftentimes find themselves doing. When we think of Bagel, we think of Mini Splatling and Nautilus, right? When we think of Biscuit, I certainly think of Ballpoint. When we think of Ice, I think of Nasty Charger. And yet, what are they playing? They're playing NSAP, Kenza 52, and Custom Jets Culture. Ice does have one of the best jets in the West, though, so it's not as if that is a total shock. But seeing that those changes from Bagel and Biscuit to benefit their team, what they need in those moments, is extremely commendable.
Yes, I agree. I think being able to adapt to what is played in the competitive scene is also an attribute that you want to have as a competitive team, right? One tricking is fine, and you can play your weapon until you're blue in the face, but sometimes it's just better to play something else, and that's just the reality sometimes.
Yeah, take it from me, a Charger main. Moving on to Manta Maria tower control. We do see a couple of changes coming out here. Shelton has opted for the Rusu approach and is now running the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. A double armor coming through here did help for tickets. We'll see if it has the same effect for Kings, but no changes coming out here from Starburst, and that early Ray, this time no Ray to counter Ice, should be a lot more comfortable in this match.
Yeah, especially given that this is Manta Maria. There's a lot of places where you can stand where the opponents can't immediately get to you, and I think that is maybe gonna make their Stingray a little stronger, but you know, as I say that, Kings does get a pick, and Biscuit does move up to a really nice position to be able to protect the tower as they're making their push past that first checkpoint.
Yeah, Benza there was really disgusting movement, but of course getting punished in the end has allowed for Starburst to open things up, and they're already through the first checkpoint and halfway through the second. The Booyah Bomb coming out here will be very helpful, but I don't know if this was exactly the time to drop, especially as two more members of Kings go down. Really going to have to work hard to just get out alive. Getting that trade probably the best you could hope for in that case for Kings.
Yeah, and what I love to see is that they could have easily, Starburst could have easily stayed on the tower, but, oh no, Bram. But they opted to just off and just cut their losses because they noticed that Kings was coming back. So I think being able to recognize that really shows their expertise as well.
Yeah, never overcommitting is a very important thing, and even when we have seen perhaps a little bit of an overextension, I think one of the really big things to highlight of the quality that these players have is still being able to find trades. Benza here early in the match, finding a trade despite being looked at by everybody on Starburst, and then Bagel Bran just a couple of moments ago, finding a pick despite also being looked at by 1, 2, or 3 members of Kings. Being able to have that impact despite being in very difficult positions is something that really can differentiate a good player from a great player.
Indeed. And this is King's time to shine. If they're able to make it through that Stingray, oh my gosh, that Stingray is really... I think what we don't talk about enough about Stingrays is that not only is it good to, get the picks, but to be able to kind of herd the enemy team into a direction that you want them to go, I think is also a really big component of the Stingray, to be able to herd them away from the tower or to move them to other places where your teammates are. I think that is also a huge component of what a Stingray is.
While I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think there are many excellent uses of the Stingray, let's not praise it too much, it's already hated beyond belief. But that said, there isn't one online available for Starburst at the moment, so it's going to actually end up being a lead lost. And I'm a little bit surprised to see Clicks hopping off of the tower there despite being so close to breaking the checkpoint. I think perhaps that was a little bit of a misplay, although in truth it could have just been one more shot to fall off from ice that could have done Clicks in, and Clicks knew that they had to move. So well done to get the lead, but a little bit perhaps disappointing not to get the checkpoint break, and that could open up big possibilities here for Starburst. Biscuit already moved up into a wonderful position, has that Booyah Bomb ready, and despite one member going down, I think two... Oh, I see. We all see now. Biscuit has seen.
We certainly do see. Kings is holding on to a really good defense here, being able to stop these pushes from Starburst happening. We do get a jump out from a member of Starburst. I didn't catch the name, but having the team together is going to make for definitely a better push.
And you can look at them all coming back in from the same area, but perhaps this time around not to their benefit, as the missiles coming out on all 4 of them, really isolating Biscuit from the rest of the team, and he has an incredibly challenging 1v1 to fight here against the fellow 52 gal. Meanwhile, Kings has broken through that checkpoint and has already moved the tower to 33. They might be able to find a little bit more as it's a 3v3 situation. It's so scary.
It is scary. I've been on the other side of Starburst. It's not fun.
And yet, Benza doing an excellent job to just stay up on top left and be such a nuisance, so immovable to get out of that position, is really killing a lot of clock for Kings and not allowing Starburst to move back in easily here. With 9 seconds remaining, everything remains on this Booyah Bomb, this Ray, and what they can do with it.
Unfortunately, I don't think anyone was on the tower?
No, I think Bagel ended up going down as... They would have been the closest one to the tower, so not able to extend this match into overtime. And that's going to be a 2-1 advantage to Kings.
Yeah, a 2-1 advantage. But you know what? Like you said, Barry, Game 5, right?
Game 5, that's what we're here for.
We certainly are. But you know, we saw a lot of really good play coming out from Kings. We saw that they're able to get the picks that they're needed to get the splats to prevent these pushes from happening. And you know, I think being able to know exactly how much to back up, to know exactly when to call it quits. Like we mentioned earlier, it's really important especially at top level gameplay like we see here today.
Yeah, and I touched on the ability to vary in your weapon picks for Starburst, but equally important was Shelton making that switch off of Jet Squelcher and onto the Rapid Blaster Pro. Obviously, double armor is incredibly difficult to fight against, but I also think that having that additional splash wall, the number of times that we saw Benzaisu and Shelton pushing up together with their splash walls, I mean, you're creating a very difficult thing to approach when you have two members cushioned behind two splash walls in very strategically important
what's better
positions.
Than one splash wall, Barry?
Two splash walls, Mel. But will we see the return of the Rapid here, or will be back to business on the custom Jet Squelcher? No need to wait on that question. It was answered immediately. More Jets coming through, and Bagel making a switch over to the Junior for a little bit more popping power. Clicks also switching over to the L3D. This is something we saw coming out earlier from Remaru, but I don't think it ended up working out in 4 tickets to Victory Please's favor. So we'll see if Clicks can do something special.
We shall see. I think, unfortunately, they are unable to get a pick with that Jet, and Brand getting a really nice splat on a member of Kings. Unfortunately, unable to. Oh, just kidding! Able to get that spot on Benzaisu as well, giving Starburst a great opportunity to kind of move up. That's a weird position to move with the Rainmaker, but you know, we see Bagel is playing it patiently, is trying to get a little bit of spacing before making a significant push into the enemy base. But unfortunately, Kings' offensive power, or defensive power actually, is a little bit too strong there.
Yeah, I don't think the other members of Starburst were quite able to find the openings needed for Bagel to move that Rainmaker up into a more profitable position. But at the very least, a lot of time was killed even after some of those members went down. That has allowed Ice to get that Stingray ready and is going to instantly shut down this push. The lane Kings much more heavily.
We do see just constant trade-off of Stingrays. Shelton using that Stingray a little bit offensively, but I think they're still waiting a little bit to be able to get a few picks before moving in with that Rainmaker.
Yeah, and it's funny to see just how quickly the team members vacate areas when the Stingrays come out, but it's understandable as well because it is such a long-range, infinite range, oppressive weapon that can definitely change the entire tide of a match. Though that said, one of the things that perhaps a little bit underlooked is the impact that Biscuit's Toxic Mist is having as well. Every single time King seems to be in a position to push, they end up getting Toxic Misted off and not ever able to move that Rainmaker up to try and take lead here. However, that said, this could be their opportunity.
Certainly can. Oh, that was a really nice splat from Benzaisu on Biscuit's Jet. Biscuit's Jet, you know, obviously when you are being sent back to spawn, your Jet can't really do anything from there.
And not only that, but it's going to get punished some more, and it's just Biscuit once again in position to try to stop this Rainmaker. I think he bought enough time for the other members to get back, but Kings is doing so well to prevent anyone from getting close to the Rainmaker. They could still get the dunk here. Whoa, my goodness. Missiles, Toxic Mist galore, everything's going to stop them from getting the knockout. And rather thankfully for Starburst's point of view, they did see that recall was right on top of the Rainmaker and the pedestal. Otherwise, that could have been a very cheeky KO.
But that Stingray, I think that might have gotten a double, maybe even a triple. That is going to be a wipe from Starburst. And not even letting Starburst exit their spawn before getting another one.
Yeah, the oppression that the 52 gal can have is really disgusting. Jump shooting 2-shot, it's a strong weapon.
It is a strong weapon, that is for sure. I think this might be Starburst's opportunity to be able to at least make that Rainmaker not sit in their base. So, but with the Stingray battle coming out, let's see. Oh, Ice coming out on top with that Stingray battle, taking out Shelton. It's going to be huge for Starburst, and they are making a push, a really strong push. And then Booyah Bomb coming out, landing directly on top of the Rainmaker, not quite letting Starburst make that push happen.
Yeah, it almost looked like they had a path ready, but then at least one member of Kings coming back from spawn slowed things down enough for Benzaisu, who definitely seemed out of position trying to push Ice's Stingray. That Booyah Bomb perhaps saving the day, but now it's Clicks with the Inkjet trying to clean things up a little bit better. And despite the map control, well, or lack thereof, I do think that Kings are in a very comfortable position at this point. They seem more than happy to bring the Rainmaker to their snipe and probably just lock things down, wait it out, and let Shelton's Ray save the day.
Yeah, but you know, Starburst isn't losing hope quite yet. They do have 10 seconds left, but there is a member of Starburst down. They do have the Rainmaker. They're able to grab the Rainmaker. This is Starburst's last chance to stay in the winner's bracket, but unfortunately, Kings does take the victory 3-1.
Yeah, a familiar position that we've seen from all custom jet sculptures at some point in time. Sitting in spawn, waiting for the right moment to Ray at the end of the match. The GG Ray truly coming through, and it will be Kings moving through to grand finals as well. Shelton with the 14 KA. Anything Ice can do, Shelton can do better, is what we've seen here. But that is not the end of the road for our friends on Starburst. They, of course, are moving down to the losers bracket, where they will end up facing, I believe...
let us see.
The winner of... Whoever wins of... are we going to see this match?
I believe we are. Maybe.
I think we're probably going to end up watching this match now. Possibly. We might be in store for a return of FT Win facing off against Ice Cube. Otherwise, we will next be picking up with the winner of that one facing off against Jackpot. I'm not sure if we've made it into the lobby in time or if things have been held for us. I sure hope we have, as that is a kind of a more classic Battle of the Ages, going all the way back to the 2019 days, seeing
oh my god,
Kiver have some rematches with FT Win.
Splatoon 2 is 5 years old.
Oh yes, very much so.
Let's just put that out there. Since 2019, that's 3 years ago. I did want to say that we did have another donation from Mr. Rookie again. Thank you so much. A $30 donation, $50 total from you. So thank you so much for your generosity. Our projected total post fees, total prize pool post fee. Wow, that's like a mouthful. Is $1,000.94. Oh, sorry. Wow, $1,094.01. I promise I can read. And you know, like I said, this is a tournament by the community for the community. So if you are able to donate, !donate, we would love to see it. We would love to see the support. And for a tournament that's probably the last major of Splatoon 2's life cycle, to be able to have that, you know, happen, I think would be really cool.
I agree entirely, and it's brought us a lot of amazing matches and a lot of surprises too. I will say,